Hi, my name is Miranda Smith, and this is my lesson about creating a simple animation using Illustrator and After Effects, the Adobe programs. First, we're going to begin by opening up Illustrator. We're going to create a new file. You're going to go to Art and Illustration, and you're going to say look at all presets, and you will choose the letter preset. You will hit create, and this is what we will be using. When you create your animation, you're going to want to think of a character. You might want to keep it simple for the first time you're creating your character. I'm going to draw my dog. Very simply. As you draw, you may want to draw the parts that you will be having animated or moving as separate parts. So if I wanted her to wiggle her ears, I'm going to draw the ears separately. I'm going to give her a mouth. Give her a body. Maybe a tail. And 4 legs. Okay. So here's my drawing. Now I need to go to... Oh, I already have layers here. So now you're going to go to layers and you're going to say release to layers sequence. And now you have all of your layers separated. You can hit the little I button to see what represents what. What I would recommend is to type in what each item is so it's easier to organize whenever you're animating. So this one is our last leg, so I'm going to title it leg number 4. Leg 3, leg 2, leg 1. Tail, that's the body, that's mouth, part 3. I think this is let's call that part 1. Let's call that mouth 2. Yes. Okay, and this layer is part of the ear. So I'll just say part of ear, right ear, part of ear left ear, I believe that is the nose, I1, I2, and this is the head. Okay, another thing we'll notice is that the layers are all a part of one single layer. What we're actually going to do is drag each layer down so it slides over and becomes its own layer. That way we will be able to focus on the different parts of this first layer of layer 1 instead of it all being connected in the next program. So this will take just a second. Okay, now that we've done that, one choice I might make really quickly, just because it's so small, So I'm going to highlight everything, I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to make my character a little bit larger. Maybe center it more time. Okay, and that's all I have to do in Illustrator. So I will go to File, Save As, Animation, and I'm going to keep it at desktop so it's easier to find later. So now we're going to open up After Effects. You'll have a pop-up, which you'll just click New Project, and it will bring you to this page. And we're going to go to File, Import, File, and I saved mine to my desktop, so here it is, Dog Animation. Open. And we're actually going to change it to a composition. Okay. Okay, so now we can see all of our layers from before. Oh, hang on, see how it's black here? What we actually need to do is go to Composition, Composition Settings, and we're going to change the background color down here to white. Okay, there he is. There's our dog. So now we have all of our different layers, and what we're going to want to do is be sure that these parts are centered. So let's see, the head looks centered to me. And I think we hold Y as you move it. Let's see. So that's a little more centered. I think that's right. Let's see. Alright, here move the nose a little bit. Left ear, we can move that there. That's just fine. Right ear, I'm going to move here. That should be fine. I don't really think I'm going to have part 1 or 2 move for mouth, but I really want to be sure part 3 is correct. Body, that's pretty centered, and I don't think I'm going to have that move. Let's put tail there. Okay, here we might take a second with the legs. Oh, and to move these, you got to hold down Y as you click and drag. Click and drag if I wasn't clear before. Okay. Now that they're all centered, we are ready to start editing. Let's do this really quick. So I'm going to start with the eyes. So eye number 1, transform. And let's say you want your character to blink. So we're going to come to opacity. We're going to hit the little time spot. And so that means that it's going to be full opacity at that point. And then we get to the second. Actually, I'm going to click it again here. And I'm going to slide it a little bit over to about a second over. And I'm going to change the opacity to 0. So now the eye won't appear. And then I'm going to move it over 1 more and change it to 100. So the eye will be full again. So if you want to see how that looks, we're going to drag this bar back, that's the time bar, and we'll press here. We'll press space, and that's how it would look if it was blinking. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to have that eye blink multiple times, so I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to do Command C for copy. Let's say I want it to happen at the 8-second mark, and I'll do Command V. And it'll happen again there. You want to space this out a little evenly. You could have them blink again right there. there, and one more time here. Okay, so I think that's all I want eye number 1 to do. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to want, or that's eye number 2, but I would like eye number 1 to do the same thing. And I'm actually going to do that so I can still see these bars here. And I'm actually going to drag this to the same spot, and I'm going to press Command, oh, hang on. I'm going to click opacity, and I'm going to drag it there, and I'm going to click Command V, and it should copy it in the same spot. Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V. Okay, so I'll drag this all the way back, and I'll click here so you can see the animation, and I'll press space. Okay. And that's what it will look like when he blinks. Now let's say I wasn't happy with how slow it was going. What I could do, I'm just going to drag this back, I could actually click on this diamond here, or let's scoot it from here. I could take here and I can scoot it to be a little bit closer. Scoot that one as well. I can do that with as many of them as I want. And now the animation is going to happen a little bit faster for that eye. Okay. So I like the speed of that a lot better, so I'm going to continue to do that for the rest of the blinks. And maybe this is something I could have done on the first one before I copy and pasted. That would have saved me a little bit of time. But even instructors get to learn every now and then too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and complete that on the other eye. Okay, and now we're back. Just so you can see the progress I made while I was transitioning. There we go, that's a little bit of a faster blink. Okay, I'm happier with that. So I think the next animation choice I want to make is the tail. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, here we go. Here's the tail. So what I actually would like the tail to be able to do would be to maybe appear as if it was wagging. So I could rotate like this. I think that's how I'm going to convey that the tail is wagging. And it's going to take a few different spots. Let's see. So I'm going to start at 0%. And I'm going to do a clock there. Okay, and then I maybe want to wag his tail a little quickly, so maybe we'll go this direction first. Take it a little bit over. Take it back a little bit over. Take it over. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth until I'm content. Alright, now let's see what it looks like if I take it back to 0. Okay. Now I'm going to take this time to 0, see how it looks when he wags his tail. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm actually going to return to the copy and paste trick. And, oops. B. Command B. I think I just want him to wag his tail the entire time. Make him a pretty happy dog. Okay, let's see how that looks. So we have him blinking and wagging his tail. Awesome. So what I would like to do next would be to close the tail. I think maybe we should have him move his legs around. So I think I'm going to return to rotation. And I'm going to have him look like he's going for a little bit of a run. So this time, instead of going back and forth, I'm trying to go in the same direction. And maybe we'll start taking it back in the other direction. And so notice how as I keep them closer together, the faster the movement is going to look in this animation. That's something you're going to want to keep in mind as you're making changes to your character. Okay, let's see how that looks so far. Okay, I think I like that, so I'm going to, you guessed it, copy and paste. Okay, let's see how that looks so far. Okay, I think I'm content with that, so I'm going to continue pasting all the way through. Okay, let's see. Alright, I really like that, so I'm going to pause it, take it to 0, and I'm going to highlight the whole darn thing if I can. Let's see. Be sure I select that first one there, or here I'll scooch it over a little bit so it'll be easier to select. Okay, I didn't get that first one. Let's see how it carries over to the other leg. That's one rotation. And we can do, oh yeah, Command Z. That was a mistake. I have to drag it over here, then do Command V. See how that looks. Okay. And I think I'm going to do that same paste on the other legs as well. Okay, so here's what our animation looks like so far. Okay. So now I think you have a good idea of how to use the rotation and the opacity tools. I would encourage you to make as many parts of your animation move as possible so your character can look most alive. But if you're completely finished with your project, then you will want to get ready to save. Okay, since you've been here, I've added a little more to my animation. I decided to make his ears wiggle and to make him bark whenever his ears wiggle as well. And I'm very happy with this animation, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to File, and instead of Save, I'm going to hit Export. And I'm going to go to Add to Render Queue. So this is going to change here. And the only thing we need to change is the Output To section, which says Not Yet Specified. So we're going to go ahead and specify that. And we're going to want to keep it as a QuickTime MOV file. That's good. If you want to add your name at the end, you can do that as well. And I'm going to continue to save it to the desktop just so it'll be easier for me to find. Okay, and I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to hit render. Okay, you see the bars going across, and you should be able to hear a distinct sound whenever it's done. Okay, so then you will be able to find it in your folder. Let's see. Animation. Okay, and here's the MOV file, so I can double click that, and you see it's converting. Okay, and you're going to want to save this again. Okay, and then it's going to say converted, and you can go ahead and save that. I'm going to keep that on my desktop. And there is your animation. Way to go, guys.